This video is a part of a series of videos that is intended to provide the sport of obedience with a clear explanation of the individual obedience exercises, procedures, and scoring. It is not intended to be the only resource, and participants in the sport are encouraged to attend judges' panel discussions, view AKC webinars, and above all, read the regulations. This is not an AKC product. It is based upon the obedience regulations and shares the interpretations of many AKC judges. KPS takes responsibility for its content. In Open A, this is the exercise that follows the retrieve over the high. The order of the exercises is always the same, and it is order 1 of the 6 orders for Open B. All open exercises are performed off-leash. In order to master this exercise, it is important that the handler understand the regulations. While the regulations are not particularly entertaining, they must be read and studied in order to be successful. Reading the regulations may not answer all of your questions, so we recommend that you view this video and attend any judges panel discussion or regulation seminars that may be available to the handler or trainer. The broad jump exercise involves the dog jumping over a series of hurdles. The distance is determined by the dog's jump height. The dog must jump and clear the hurdles that are set at a distance equal to twice their jump height. The principal features of this exercise are that the dog stay where left until directed to jump, that the dog clear the jump on a single command or signal, and that the dog return to its handler after it has jumped. In AKC Regulations, Chapter 4, Section 3, we are told that there are 20 points available for this exercise. The team must retain more than 50% of the points available in this exercise, or 10.5 points, in order to qualify. The judge's orders for this exercise are you ready? This is a query. Leave your dog. Send your dog. Finish. Exercise finished. This is a statement. We will watch this exercise in its entirety, and then we will break it down into its elements, common errors, and then scoring.
Broad jump. Are you ready?
Ready.
Leave your dog.
Wait.
Send your dog.
Whistle, jump.
Finish. Exercise finish.
The exercise will begin with the handler and the dog in heel position at least 8 feet from the front edge of the first hurdle. The judge will inquire, "Are you ready?" On an affirmative answer, the judge will order, "Leave your dog."
Leave your dog.
Wait.
The handler will go directly to the right side of the jump and face the hurdles. The handler can stand anywhere within the plane created by the front of the first hurdle and the end of the last hurdle. The judge will order, "Send your dog." The handler may give a signal or command to send the dog, but not both. On getting the signal or command, the dog will immediately move to the jump at a trot or a gallop, jump the jump, and return to the handler in the front position. Walking forward or returning at a walk will result in a substantial penalty. As the dog is in the air, the handler will pivot 90 degrees to the right. Once the dog is in front position, the judge will order, "Finish," and then give the exercise finished release. The dog must not leave its place until commanded or signaled to do so. Movement will not necessarily result in a penalty. If the dog shifts weight to keep its balance, even if a foot or two moves, there should be no penalty. If the dog anticipates a signal or a command, it should be scored as an NQ. Once being signaled or commanded to jump, the dog is to go directly to the jump it, and move to the front
Winston,
position.
jump!
In other words, without deviation or hesitation. This definition places two responsibilities on the dog. It cannot wander off course without deviation, nor can it fail to act immediately without hesitation. The degree to which the dog wanders or hesitates will determine the penalty. The distance between the front edge of the first hurdle and the back edge of the last hurdle is determined by the dog's jump height. The minimum jump height is determined by using the dog's height at the withers, and the jump is set at a distance prescribed in Appendix A of the regulations. For a detailed explanation of jump height determination, watch our video on the retrieve over the high exercise. A link is provided in the description of this video. The jump height is the distance from the front edge of the first hurdle to the back edge of the last hurdle. There is a maximum of 4 hurdles. The first hurdle is set in a position determined by the judge. As additional hurdles are added, the last hurdle is placed next and measured to provide the jumping distance. Subsequent hurdles are placed evenly between the first and the last hurdle. This is estimated, not measured. This illustration is a job aid that is designed to aid the steward in setting the hurdles in order to complete the jump. This is done prior to the handler entering the ring. The judge will mark the ring for this exercise as required in the regulations. There will be a mark 8 feet from the jump from which the handler will lead their dog. There may be one on the handler's side of the hurdles indicating a distance of 2 feet. The 2-foot mark is not required, but the handler must be about 2 feet from the hurdles. If there is a mark present, the handler should absolutely stand at the mark. The handler must stand between the edge of the left side of the first hurdle and the edge of the right side of the last hurdle. In other words, the handler must stand in the area created by the lowest edge of the first hurdle and the highest edge of the last hurdle. Anywhere in here is acceptable. Once they have established themselves in a point, they will stay there until the end of the exercise. On the judge's order, the handler will direct the dog to jump the jump. Once the dog is in midair, the handler will pivot 90 degrees to face the dog as it comes front. The handler must pivot while the dog is in midair. By stopping the action, we can see that the handler begins to pivot as soon as the dog leaves the ground. The pivot is completed in this fashion so that the handler turning does not act as an additional signal to jump. There are 4 possible faults in jumping the hurdles. First, a failure to clear the jump. Second, using the jump as an aid for jumping. Third, touching the jump. And then finally, hesitation or reluctance to jump. We will discuss penalties for each of these a little later.
Broad jump. Are you ready?
Ready.
Leave your dog.
Wait.
On the judge's order, leave your dog, the handler will walk directly to the place from which he or she will call their dog.
Send your dog.
The
Winston,
handler
jump!
will assume the natural position. On the order, send your dog, the handler will give a signal or command for the dog to jump. If using a signal, the handler is to avoid using body language to aid the dog.
Send your dog.
Extreme
Yeah,
signals or the use of anything other than the hand and arm on one side of the
Finish.
body can be penalized. After the dog jumps, he will move to the
Exercise
front position.
finished.
The dog should be straight
Take
in line
that.
with the handler and close enough that the handler can touch the dog's head without excessive reaching, bending, or moving the feet. The judge will then order the handler to finish the dog. The dog will move around the handler and sit in heel position. The dog should be straight in heel position
Exercise
and
finished.
wait until released. The judge will then state exercise finished and the handler can release the dog. We will now review the penalties associated with the broad jump. Penalties are levied when the dog or the handler violates a regulation. First, we'll discuss those things that may lead to non-qualifying. The dog may not anticipate the command or signal to take the jump. The dog must wait in position until the handler has given a signal or a command to jump the jump. The dog must clear all the hurdles in order to complete the jump. Stepping on a hurdle or moving a hurdle will result in an NQ. The dog may not step between the hurdles. If the dog walks between the hurdles, this would be an NQ. The dog may not fail to act on the first command or signal to jump. The dog must react immediately once the handler has given the command or signal for the dog to jump. Failure to do this can result in an NQ. Were the dog to simply hesitate, then the hesitation would determine the penalty.
Send your dog.
The dog must return to the handler close enough for the handler to touch the dog's head without excessive reaching or bending. After taking the jump, the dog must turn and return to the front position. The dog may not cut the jump by jumping diagonally. The dog must clear all hurdles. Jumping diagonally and landing in front of the outside edge of the jump will result in a non-qualifying score. The handler may give a signal or command to direct the dog to jump, but not both.
Stand your dog.
Here, jump!
Now we will discuss those things that result in a minor to substantial penalty. Keep in mind that all of those penalties from Chapter 3 and the recall exercise continue to apply throughout all of the classes. The dog may not touch the jump in the act of jumping the hurdles.
Are you ready?
Ready?
Leave your dog.
Stay.
Stand your dog.
Here, jump!
Are you ready?
Ready?
Leave your dog.
Stay.
Stand your dog.
Here, jump!
Were the dog to simply touch the front side or the back side of the first and last hurdle, a penalty would result, but not necessarily rising to an NQ. The dog must return directly to the handler after taking the jump. The penalty will depend on the degree of deviation. The dog may not demonstrate any hesitation or reluctance to jump the hurdles. The penalty will depend upon the degree to which the dog is resistant. Hesitance in jumping, as in stutter jumping, may indicate that the dog has a vision problem or some other physiological reason for not wanting to jump. This can serve as a warning to the handler that something's wrong with the dog. As discussed in previous videos, the judge forms an image of perfection for each exercise. Within the regulations, the judge will apply this image in addition to the letter of the regulations to determine any penalties. We hope that this has helped you understand this exercise. Please like, subscribe, and share this video so that others can learn as well. For other videos, you can go to the playlist by using the following QR code. Thank you for watching.